This is the silver 1 month overview reading for April 2022. It's currently March 8th, 2022 at 1:15 a.m. Overall theme and behavior for silver throughout the month of April is a flight to safety. And that's crossed with price swings. Looks like slightly bullish price swings. Behavior around the month's high or highs is going to be a sharp decline, the biggest decline card in the deck. Behavior around the month's low or lows is going to be an opportunity to position oneself to play both sides of the market. So buy and hold protection on buy long positions, and have protection on long positions, or around SLV, like owning puts and calls, that sort of thing. All right, so now we have Friday the 1st, Monday the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, the 8th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and then we have the correlators for the local highs. And the correlators for the local lows as well. These are the trade correlators. Okay, and then we have the sneak preview for the 10-year overview. This is the silver 1 month overview for April 2022. It's currently March 28th, 2022 at 4:23 a.m. So there's several things that are interesting to note when I look at cross-reference this with the 1 month overview, or the 1 year overview for 2022 for silver. But first, let's just start here. The behavior around the high, it looks like we have the high and month highs and month lows are within close time proximity to each other on a chart. very close time proximity. It looks like we have that happen 3 times. It happens within like a day, roughly. We'll get into that, but there's a sharp decline due to some global issue off of the highs. There's very significant on a like if you look at like a year chart with with the 1 day candlesticks, there'll be significant drops from these highs, and notable moves upward from the lows as well. It looks like we have 2 opportunities near the lows. There are opportunities to position for both sides of the market. So if you're playing like SLV ETF for silver, the lows mark an opportunity for you to be opening up puts and calls, or what they call a straddle or a strangle. Or if you're long silver, you buy puts to protect them. That sort of stuff. There's lots of combinations. What's interesting to note is it's the lows that give an opportunity to play both sides, position for both sides of the market, not the highs. Which says to me that the highs are the upper range. Now, the overall theme is a sharp decline for the month of April. Sharp decline for the month of April, crossed with a back and forth price swings, but they're not very. They're not going to be very prominent based on the fact that there's no correspondence between the crossing card. The theme crossing card doesn't correspond anywhere on the timeline. But it makes sense because I do see 1, 2, 3 looks like opportunities where you have some whoosh. But there's also several lows that don't have month highs near them either. Now, when we look at the 1 year, we had a year's high in March, and this is a year-to-date chart of SLV. So January, right? We had a high in January, first high in January, right? And then at the end of February was an opportunity position. Interesting. To position on both sides of the market. So right around here, in both directions, right? Then we had a year's high again in March. I sense that we have a sharp decline, but we revisit a crest here somewhere, and then there's either another high where we visit the same area again somewhere in April, or we hit it right at the beginning of May, or it could be both. So like there's definitely we definitely revisit. There's we have a notable high in May, but it could be early May, and it could be combined with like some of April, or it could be 2 separate highs. But we see that price level again. That price level being like the 25 mark, and maybe possibly even all the way up to like the $25 mark roughly. So the end of March looks like we have that fortune card. We have a high with 2 local lows. Fortune card is a reversal, and then it looks like we have a significant decline or gap down over that week on that Friday, which is the first day of April 1st. Sharp decline, and the month's first low corresponds to April 1st, Friday, April 1st. And then, matter of fact, sorry guys, make this easy. I'm just gonna draw some of these dates on there to keep track where I am. also might be a little thick. But you can see what I'm doing is I'm putting the dates that correspond, which these are timeline cards, right? Timeline cards here. So, Friday the 8th. So, okay, so it looks to me like there's a notable drop on that Friday the 1st. And then on Monday the 4th, we have 2 local highs, 2 local lows, and a trade opportunity. Oh, we have a trade opportunity as well at around that first low for the month that takes place on the 1st. And a trade opportunity there on the 4th. It looks like an opportunity to position oneself long. There's quite a bit of opportunity in there because there's a great deal of fluctuation going on in there, but there's decline there, but with an opportunity overall to be long. The following day, the 5th, Tuesday the 5th, we have the majority of the behaviors for that day is going to be bumping along a resistance level. Now it may break through and then bump along another resistance, and break through that, bump along another, or it may just bump along one. But the majority of the behavior will be bumping along resistance. It's a bullish energy. And midweek, on the 6th, we have a local low, and it's a sharp drop to a local low. There's a decision between 2 leaders highlighted on that day. The following day, the 7th, Thursday the 7th, we have a corresponding a correlation here to the month's high and the month's low. We have a sharp dip within a period of rotation that brings us to revisit a support level that was a good opportunity. And there's a trade opportunity on that day as well. On Friday the 8th, we have a local high and a local low. There's a notable drop on the day's chart, a notable drop from that local high, and a big push to the upside from that local low. It looks like we have some erratic behavior. There'll be a price level, right? And then a horizontal price level, and then the price will be going like back and forth throughout the day. But revisiting a crest that was an opportunity in the past was a good opportunity. And this is I think this is the first opportunity. Now, when I look at the overview for April, see that decision between 2 leaders is highlighted early in the month, right? We have that going on here early in the month. When I see overlapping correspondences, I started putting them in blue when they're significant. Okay, so that's important. I looked for the Emperor on here, didn't see him, but obviously he's got something to do with that decision. Well, it's obvious to me. There's a failed attempt to break through resistance, and then there's a decline through support, and then towards the end of the month we have a sharp decline. What's interesting to note is that sharp decline at the end of the month, it's the same card that's being that's the correlator on the 1 month overview. See, look, sharp decline end of the month. We have the Lover card early in the month, so I put it here. I highlighted it, right? That's early, the first week. Then we have the Lover's cards. So there's something important going on there. Queen of Wands there as well. And then on the 1 year, we have the Emperor. So it looks like we probably go down from early in the month. And then what's interesting, though, is we come back up. So there's like a flight to safety, and then we revisit those same problems again. That's the Hermit card. Right, so we drop, It looks like at the end of the month we revisit. We may come back all the way to where we were here, because it kind of like blends into a high that we see in May. There's a high, so it kind of like blends in there towards the end of the month. So there's back and forth kind of behavior going on here, but with notable declines off of the highs. And at the end of the month of April, which is this cluster on the 1 year, is that same correlator to the high on the 1 month for April. So it could very well indicate that the high for the month is at the end of the month, even though the majority of the behavior is going to be declining, which is what the theme card says to me. And then that all of what I just said really does speak towards the crossing of the theme card, which is the Dominion card, which is price swings. All right, so yeah, we revisit a crest on Friday the 8th. It was a good opportunity. It looks like on Monday the 11th, excuse me, Monday the 11th, we have a local high and a local low and a trade opportunity. Now, the majority of the behavior, the significant theme of that day is going to be a drop through support to meet a second support level. And then we bounce along that support level for a bit, and then we break down through that, and we continue going further south through support. Looks like the trade opportunity is in the midst of a big move higher that marks the end of a rally, and then we break down through a diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down to meet the local low. It's a significant drop from the local high there, and there's a trade opportunity there in the midst of that. Resistance is highlighted. So it looks like on Tuesday the 12th, we move higher through resistance. We're up there briefly, and then we break back down through that same price level, and it makes kind of like an A. If the price level of that acts as resistance and then support, it's horizontal. We go like this through it, and then back down. It's kind of like an A. And there's resistance highlighted towards the very end of the day of Tuesday the 12th. And then looks like the following day, excuse me, Wednesday the 13th is a big push to the upside. There's a local high there. But there's also a correlation to a month's low. So my sense is that we hit resistance on Tuesday the 12th towards the end of the day. We drop back down. We gap down Wednesday morning, and then that acts as a notable trough for the month of April, the second notable trough for the month of April. But we push high out of that gap down. And there's a local high there on that day. Looks like even possibly another like notable crest or peak for the month as well. So there's a lot going on there. But then the following day highlights an important resistance level. So that could be towards the end of the day or into Thursday the 14th. That resistance could be that revisiting of that price level that acted as a high back on like the 7th-ish. And out of that local high, there's a drop, a sharp dip, and then a period of volatility, or a sharp dip within a period of volatility. out of that local high, which will be that price level, which is significant. There's a trade opportunity on the 15th, and that's in the midst of a decline. So local high on the 14th, we drop from that, and the strength card implies a big move from all the way from a support level all the way up to like the top of a range. So, but from the bottom of the range all the way to the top of the range, but it carries innately within it that prior to that move higher there was a decline. So we come out of a decline on the 15th, moving higher. And then there's a trade opportunity, a notable trade opportunity on Monday. What is that? The 18th. That trade opportunity is from near overbought territory on RSI relative to the stock's behavior in the case of SLV, and will drop very notably from that close to overbought peak to meet another prominent trough for the month of April. But then we continue further. There's more decline on Tuesday the 19th. Notable drop on Tuesday the 19th, and another month's prominent trough on the 20th. But the street's expectations are the majority expects it to go lower. However, for whatever reason, even with all the overwhelming headwinds going on in the news, SLV moves higher, possibly even breaking through some local resistance levels. We're range bound on the 21st. Excuse me. Yeah, so it looks like at the end of so the push out of the low on the 20th, we meet the top of the range 20th, 21st, and then between the 21st and the 22nd, we fall from that range to meet support. Looks like the week's low there, that third week, the week's low there. We fall to meet that as support, and then we move sideways, rotating along that support level on that Friday the 22nd. All right. Monday the 25th, we have a local high. It's in the midst of a period of significant volatility. And from that local high, we go further, but it's significant volatility. So a lot of ground is covered in the midst of this volatility. And we'll be dropping, but with spikes higher, or with spikes up, I should say, to meet moving averages that act as resistance, and then we'll fall further, spike up, but not as high as the last spike, meet moving averages, and then fall further. And that's kind of like the behavior that we'll see on around that Monday, the 25th. But we also have the Prince of Wands energy there. Something going on here with the price level. There's a price level highlighted here towards the end of Monday that we see on somewhere around Tuesday the 12th. So it'll be important to go look at that and see if we revisit a price level there. Then Tuesday the 26th, we have another notable move higher. That's a big bullish day to reach a distant resistance level. Bullish, bullish, bullish. And then Wednesday the 27th, we have a notable move downward. There's a fast sudden move higher within a period of volatility that marks the end of that volatility, but there's a local low we reach with a prominent move lower. So it looks like one of the more significant days for the month of April here on the 28th. About a significant no, actually even more significant than that Monday the 4th. So the 28th is a very notable, important day for some reason. There's a lot going on here. We have two local highs, we have a local low, we have a trade opportunity. It's the Ace of Wands, which indicates that there's a big push higher. There may be a little bit pullback, but it's a very bullish indication. The Ace of Wands, two local highs. One of those is going to be met out of a rally that picks up steam as it moves forward in time to reach that high, and another local high, or maybe the same one, but there's two local highs there, and out of at least one of those local highs, we have a sudden drop within a period of volatility around the resistance level that's highlighted as, or signified as, the Queen of Swords. To reach that local low as well, we also have a big move to reach that local low, or possibly out of that local low. A lot going on that day, a lot. And then we have a fake out. There's a fake out on the 29th. There's intentional misdirection. We have a trade opportunity, a local high. We have a correlation to a month's high and a correlation to a month's low, all on that day, in the midst of a fake out. Yeah, so it looks like at the end of the month of April, we come back pretty hard towards the very end of the month, and we revisit. So there's a big drop from a high towards the end of the month. Looks like we push higher after there's a breakdown. So lots of volatility. There's a notable drop, and then towards the very end of the month, last week, we push higher, and we revisit the same price level that we had visited in March. Sneak preview card for May is, we see a lower low, and there's a notable trade opportunity in there, in the midst of a sharp drop from overbought territory on RSI. And it's overbought territory, so it's like a sharp drop, a sell-off from a peak in overbought territory. That's the sneak preview card for May. All right, guys, that's silver for April 2022. Hope that helps. There's a lot of congruency going on here with the silver 1 year overview. If you want to get the whole overview for the 1 year, which really helps when reading these 1 months, that's something that you can order on the website. I highly recommend, if you're big into silver, that you get these 1 years. They're very, very helpful for me. And they also support us. They help to support. They show the love. But with that said, guys, I hope this helps. Let me know how you guys do. Let me know if you got some plans, some strategies. Let me know how you did last month. Oh, that reminds me. I'm also going to look out for the review. I'm going to start doing a review of silver, or some review videos as well when I have the time. Somebody reviews them, but I'm actually going to go and review video so you guys can see on video some of this review. So look out for the one for March Silver. It should be coming out relatively soon. And guys, go check out that book if you're interested in tarot. It finally has been released. I appreciate all of the support, especially for those people that were so patient and pre-ordered so long ago, and they just hung tight with us. Oh man, you guys are my fans. I mean, I'm your fan. Yes, I am your fan. That was really awesome, and as appreciation for all those pre-order people, all coming editions of the book will be free of charge to those who pre-ordered. So yeah, look out for those editions, because we'll be adding stuff as we move forward. We're always updating, and the research continues. I get better and better. The research gets more and more concise. All right, guys. So hit that like, that subscribe button.